Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. As you can see, you cannot see me. So what does that mean? It's a declutter video. Whoop, whoop. So today I'm going to be decluttering my eyeshadow palettes. This includes all of my curated eyeshadow palettes. This does not include any eyeshadow palettes that I have that are full of single shadows that I bought myself. So these are all pre-curated eyeshadow palettes. My goal here isn't to declutter a certain number of these palettes or a certain percentage of the palettes that I own. My goal rather is just to get rid of some of the clutter and some of the stuff that I have in my collection that I don't use. So total, I have 49 palettes. I know that's hard to believe, 49 palettes. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with the stuff I know I want to keep, and then I'm going to move on from there. So if you all are interested in seeing other videos like this on my channel, this is my second declutter that I've done, but I will probably do other declutters on my channel. If you like other beauty content, you should definitely subscribe to my channel. And if you want to see me declutter a crap ton of eyeshadow palettes, you should definitely keep on watching. Let's start with my newest palette. This is the Tom Ford quad that I literally got today in the mail from Sephora. So as you can see, it's just full of like these warm tones, and they're all like this satiny Tom Ford formula. It looks really beautiful. And this is in the shade 01 Mercurial. Mercurial? I think that's how you pronounce it. So this palette was released, I believe, this year for holiday. I haven't used it yet. I'm going to be testing it out, I assume tomorrow actually, for a video that I'm going to film with a lot of bougie makeup that I recently bought. So if you want to see that, keep your eyes out for that video on my channel. So I'm definitely going to keep this Tom Ford palette because I literally just got it today. Next up, we have this Rowan palette. This is the 1111 quad. So this quad is just full of 4 like textured sparkly shimmers. It's really beautiful. I really like these shadows on my lids. I also recently got this, I think I got this in January. I think I got it in January. It was either January or December. So I'm also gonna keep this because it's new to my collection. I really enjoyed using it and pairing it with other palettes that I own that don't really have like textured, shimmery, sparkly kind of shades. So this is a really good, just like all shimmer quad. Next up, we have the Charlotte Tilbury Walk of No Shame quad. This is what it looks like. So I'm gonna keep this quad as well because I just got it, I think in January, if I'm not mistaken. It seems like all the months are just like, they all like just mesh together. It seems like all the months feel the same. But anyways, I don't remember exactly which month I got this. I got this in the past 2 months. That's what I know. And so because this is new to my collection, I'm also gonna keep it. This is the Walk of No Shame palette. I think it's a good palette, but I think that this bottom shade right here, the pop shade, I feel like that isn't as glittery, metallic, sparkly, special, textured as I like my metallics to be. But these 3 other shades that are the more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like satiny kind of shades, those I feel like are really, really pretty, and that's a good formula. So I am gonna keep this for now. This is the Natasha Denona Mini Glam. This is also a new addition to my collection. I am gonna keep this as well because it is a new addition. This is the only Natasha Denona palette I have, and it is so beautiful on the eyes. The mattes blend like a dream. These metallics are awesome. I really, really like this palette. So because it's new and because I really like it, I'm gonna keep it in my collection. Let's talk some Huda Beauty. So this is the Nude Rich Obsessions palette. As you can see, it's just full of dark, deep nudes and rosy tones. It's really, really beautiful on the eyes. I love this formula. This one I got in January from Sephora because I got the nude medium, which you'll be seeing next, for Christmas, and I really like that formula and I really like that palette, and I wanted something a little bit deeper to go along with it. So hence I got this. So I'm also gonna be keeping this because it's new and because I like it. This one coming up is the Huda Beauty Nude Medium Obsessions. For all the reasons I just stated, I'm going to be keeping this one as well because I like it, because it's new, because I like the formula, because it's just a really good neutral palette. So also going to be keeping this one. Let's go to this palette next. This is the Shroud Cosmetics It's Freaking Bats palette. I'm obviously going to be keeping this. I waited so long for this to come in the mail to me. I love this grungy, colorful color story. It's so beautiful, and these shadows work like a dream. These mattes are so easy to work with. The metallics are just beautiful on the lid. I really enjoy this palette, and to me it's going to be a keepsake for a while, just because I feel like this palette has a lot of memories with it. And also, well, one of the memories being I ordered this while I was recovering from a tonsillectomy, so that's a memory. But I do really enjoy this palette, and it's just really great, and I'm not getting rid of this anytime soon. Let's talk about the Viseart Dark Edit next. This is a really small Viseart palette. As you can see, it's pretty tiny. So this palette I really like, just because if you want grungy, colorful, dark mattes, I mean, boom, there you have it. And you have some shimmers to go with the mattes as well. The shimmer formula, the metallic formula, I don't really feel like that's too special. These mattes though are really special. They just blend out so easily, especially for being these dark, rich, deep, like colorful sort of shades. And they're just a pleasure to work with, so I really do enjoy this palette. This is the only Viseart palette I have, and I really like working with it. And this is also pretty new to my collection as well. I believe I ordered this in December or January. That seems to be a pattern here, but I really do like this palette. Next up, we have the Plain Jane palette from Adept Cosmetics. You must be out of your mind if you think I'm getting rid of this. I love this palette. These are some of the most beautiful, metallic, special, shifty, shiny shades I have ever seen. I have done a video with this palette. You should definitely check it out if you want to see some swatches, if you want to see these on my eyes. If you want to see a review. This is stunning. I've used all of these shades at least once, most of them probably 2, 3, 4 times by now, and they're just absolutely stunning. I love the ACI formula, which is the Adept Cosmetics. I forget what the I stands for. Maybe it's like iridescent or something, but the ACI formula is killer, and I love this palette, so I'm definitely keeping it. Let's talk some Colorpop. See, I'm just going through the things I know I'm gonna keep right now. So this is the Colorpop and the Mandalorian, the Child / the Baby Yoda palette, as I like to call it. So this is just full of greens and neutrals. Obviously lots of greens because Yoda is green, Baby Yoda is green. So I really like this palette. I love greens on my lids. I feel like this formula is really nice. Both the metallics and the mattes, so I'm gonna keep this. I really like it. Let's talk about the Raw Beauty Kristi at Forest Sight palette. So I'm obviously gonna keep this because I really like Raw Beauty Kristi, and I really wanted to support her with this collaboration, especially because I didn't support her collaboration with Pure, just because I wasn't really attracted to the colors and the format of that palette, but this one definitely attracted me. Again, similarly to the Viseart Dark Edit palette, I feel like this one really shines with these dark, grungy mattes. They're just so easy to work with and really beautiful. These two metallics too, Evergreen and West Coast, are also really nice to work with, but I feel like the mattes in here are really a standout, so I really do like this palette, and I'm gonna keep it. My last Colorpop palette. This is the Colorpop Baroque palette. They released this one around the holidays. I think I got it in November or December of 2020. So this is just a cool toned palette. It's pretty neutral, I would say, just because you have like grays and browns and things like that, but it is very much cool toned. And I bought this because I didn't really have any cool tones in my collection at the time, and I feel like this really sort of fulfilled a need / a want for my collection. So I really enjoy this palette, and I like using this when I want to pull in some cool tones, so I'm going to keep this as well. Give Me Glow. I'm obviously going to keep my Give Me Glow palettes. I feel like I'd have to be an idiot to give these up. So this is the Christmas Morning palette. Oh my god, look at this. I love this palette. I actually got this in the mail on Christmas Eve, so I was able to use it on Christmas morning this year, which was pretty exciting. So these metallics are just stunning. This Gifts Galore shade is like a green to a brown. Oh my gosh, it's so shifty and so beautiful. This gold is like so metallic. This red is the best red metallic I've ever used by a long shot. I feel like red metallics must be hard to formulate because almost every one I've tried kind of sucks. And then this is Santa Sleigh, which is just, again, like the best silver I've probably ever tried. So I really, really love this palette. The mattes are great, the metallics are great. I'm obviously keeping this. Another Give Me Glow palette that's newer to the collection is the Vivid Rose palette. So they released this in 2020. I got this, I think on like Black Friday or something. I don't remember exactly when, but this palette again is also really nice. These metallics, especially Petal to the Metal. Oh, this is beautiful. I do like the mattes. I feel like the darker mattes are a little bit more difficult to blend out and work with. They are very doable. You just have to give them a lot of time, especially these dark purples right here. And because I love Give Me Glow's metallics so much, I wish they replaced either He Loves Me or Talk Dirt to Me. It's really hard to read upside down. Sorry. I wish they replaced one of these with a metallic just because I feel like those shades are pretty similar on the eye and in tone. And so I feel like both of them aren't necessary, and I would have loved to see another pink metallic. So there's 2 purple metallics, 2 pink metallics, but I really do like this palette. It's really nice. And I do like those purple mattes, even though they are a little bit more difficult to work with. You just really have to like coddle them a bit, you know? My last Give Me Glow palette is the Juicy Olive. So this palette was my first Give Me Glow palette. I ordered this a while ago, probably in like 2019 or early 2020. This is just the perfect grungy green palette. This is what introduced me to Give Me Glow's formula, and I love it. These mattes are so easy to work with. These metallics are the Give Me Glow metallics that I feel like we all know and love, so definitely gonna keep this palette. Let's see, let's move on to Pat McGrath. So I have most of my Pat McGrath palettes in the original packaging, so I'll take them out to show you all. This is the Blitz Astral Quad in Nocturnal Nirvana. So this was the quad that was released for holiday 2019. So as you can see, you just have 4 really bright, beautiful colors. We have a green to purple duochrome, we have a dark deep purple, we have an aqua, and we have a gold. These are all beautiful. These are all in Pat McGrath's Blitz Astral formula, so her special sort of shades, if you've ever heard of those. And I love this. I'm obviously keeping this. I'm keeping all my Pat McGrath. I'm just showing you all this stuff because, I mean, why not? This is sort of like a palette collection and declutter video, so I'm keeping this. Obviously, I'll probably repeat myself for every Pat McGrath palette, but I love them all. Let's start with the first Pat McGrath palette I ever got. This is the Divine Rose 2. As you can see, I do not have the outer packaging for this. Quick story on that. UPS kind of abused my package, and when it came in the mail, that outer cardboard packaging was completely destroyed and crushed. So sadly, I just have it in the black lacquer and without that cardboard packaging on the outside. So this is what it looks like. Do I wish I would have gotten the rose gold limited edition packaging? Yes. Do I know it's re-released at Sephora and patmcgrath.com? Yes. Am I gonna buy it? No, because I don't want to spend another $125 on a palette I already own. But I love this palette. This shade right here in the bottom, for you it'd be right corner, for me it's left. This shade, oh, it's so stunning. I love that shade for the inner corner of the brow bone. It's unbeatable. And this is just a great palette if you like pinky tones, mauve tones, rosy tones, all that stuff. And this is a multi-chrome right here, VR Sextraterrestrial. So I love this palette. I'm obviously keeping it. Next, let's talk about Mothership 2 Sublime. I do have the outer packaging for this one, so that's nice. It has like this green kind of stuff on it, this green face on it. So this palette does have a green in it, so that's how I know which one it is. So here it is. I love this palette too. Again, these 3 shades right here, oh, this green, this gold, and this like pink to like copper duochrome, absolutely stunning. Love the mattes. This shade in the bottom left corner, For me, right for you. This one's okay. It's probably one of my least favorite like special shades in her palettes. It just feels a lot more drier, doesn't pick up as easily on the finger or on the brush. I think it's harder pressed in the palette. So not as big of a fan as of that shade as I am of like that shade in the Divine Rose 2 palette, for example. But this is a beautiful palette. I'm obviously keeping this. Let's talk about my favorite Pat McGrath palette, Mothership 6 Midnight Sun. Ugh, I love this packaging on the outside. And then when I open this up, you're probably gonna see why I love it. Oh my God! Oh my God! One of the shades popped out. I don't know if you all saw that, but this shade like popped out. Oh no! Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to fix that. But I put it back in the pan. It seems like the glue came off of it. Now I'm just upset, but it looks fine, it doesn't look damaged. But anyways, I love this palette because I love these mattes, and I absolutely love these 4 special shades in here. This purple, I love pairing with that copper. It's such an unexpected combination, but I feel like it looks beautiful. This gold, stunning. I feel like she had a lot of golds in her palettes, but I mean, they're all so dang good. Like, can I really complain? No. And then this shade, like the Divine Rose 2, absolutely stunning on the inner corner or on the brow bone. It's just the most beautiful, wet looking shimmer. Ugh, I love it. So I absolutely love this palette. It's my favorite Pat McGrath palette by far. And my last Mothership palette is the Mothership 1 Subliminal. So this was obviously her first Mothership palette, and I bought it recently during her Black Friday sale because I like the color story. And so here it's just like you have cool tone mattes, you have this deep blue, you have this blue iridescent shade, a gold of course, because what's a Pat McGrath palette without a gold? And we have this like pink iridescent, like with a taupe sort of base pigment. I love this palette. This one's beautiful. I love that rich blue. I love that iridescent shade. I love these mattes. It's stunning. I love it. I'm obviously keeping it because I'm a Pat McGrath stan at this point. And my last Pat McGrath palette is the Mothership Mega palette that she released for the holidays this year. Actually 2020, it's not this year anymore. I love this palette. The mattes are amazing, the metallics are amazing. This is a great way to try Pat McGrath's formula at a much less expensive price point. I will say there are no special shades in here. There's not any of those Blitz Astral formulas in here, but this palette is great. These formulas are amazing. I can't really complain, and I love it, and I've used it quite a bit. Okay, what brand am I gonna do next? Let's do Anastasia, how about that? So this is the Anastasia Norvina palette. As you can see, it is a mess. It's very well loved. Should I keep this? Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep this. I've had this for a few years. I haven't hit pan anything yet, but as you can see, Dreamer has a huge dent, so does Summer and Rose Gold and Dazzling. Those have really big dips in it. The matte's not as much, but I do like this palette. I feel like this is Anastasia's palette with the best metallic formula, but I just don't use this and I don't reach for this nearly as much as I used to, because I have found formulas that I do like better than Anastasia's, but I do like this palette, so I'm gonna keep it. The Modern Renaissance. Oh my God, this is the oldest palette in my collection by far. I've hit pan in 4 shades. This is also probably my most used palette. So Golden Ochre, Buon Fresco, Cypress Umber, Primavera, and Red Ochre. I've hit pan in all of these shades. So I got this when I was in high school, and I feel like this palette introduced me to warm tones. It introduced me to using red on my lids. I loved using any of these reds on my outer corner. I feel like it just looked beautiful and stunning. These metallics are not my favorite formula. I just feel like they're very, you know, not very impactful. They're like a very soft metallic. So I feel like I'm gonna keep this palette, A, for the memories, and B, because these are really good mattes, and these red shades are just really beautiful, especially that orange too, that, what's that one called? Realgar? I don't know. That orange shade, that one's really nice too, especially like in the crease or in the outer corner. So I am gonna keep this palette for the mattes. Next up, we have the Jackie Ina palette. I was trying to do her like song that she does in her videos. I don't think I succeeded, but this is the Jackie Ina palette. I got this when it was being discontinued on Anastasia's website for like half price. I got this for an amazing deal, and I do like this palette. I feel like the mattes are just really nice and a really unique color story. And the shimmer, these metallic formulas are really nice, especially Zam and Dolas and Trust Issues. I feel like those three are like the standout metallics in this palette. So I wish I used it more. I probably don't use it enough, but I do really like this palette and I am gonna keep it. Last but not least, Soft Glam. So as you can see, Sultry has a little bit of damage that it came like that. I was a little bit annoyed with it, but you know, I deal with it. I didn't return it, I just decided to deal with it. So I like this palette. I feel like Sultry and Bronze are the better metallics in here. I feel like Glistening, Fairy, and Rose Pink, they're like more that soft metallic formula, which I'm not really that much of a fan of. But this is a great neutral palette. I really like the mattes. I bought this because my mother owns this palette, and whenever I'd go over to my parents' house, I would use it and borrow it from her. So I decided to get my own, and I haven't really gotten as much use out of it as I probably should, just because there's another palette in my collection that I feel like is like the amped up, new and improved version of this. But I do really like this. I like Anastasia's formulas. I am gonna keep this. I feel like I'm keeping everything. I'm bad at declutters, I'm sorry. But I am gonna keep this. So, this is the palette that's the new and improved version of the Anastasia Soft Glam, in my humble opinion. And this is the Side by Side palette from Nabla. I got this in the Nabla Trend Mood box that came out in 2020. This palette is stunning. You have cool tones, you have warm tones, you have neutral tones, you have amazing metallics, especially Better Society. You want your eyelids to look wet? There you go. I love this palette. It does everything. I am obsessed. I'm obviously not getting rid of this because I love it and it's new and I love it. And yeah, I love this. Let's talk about another Nabla palette. This is the other Nabla palette I have. This is the Secret palette. I don't know if I'm gonna keep this or not. This is the first one I'm questioning. I do like the matte formula. I do like the metallic formula. It's just I never reach for this. I'm not really sure why. I just don't think this color story really speaks to me. Like, I feel like, again, I don't know. Like, each row is sort of its own curated color story here. Like, you got your pinks, you got your, like, blues and, like, cool tones, and then you got, like, your neutral warm tones. But I never use this. I don't know. I think I'm gonna put this off to the side. I'm gonna decide at the end. So this is a maybe declutter, maybe keep. I'm not quite sure yet. Let's talk about a palette I know I'm gonna declutter. This is the Venus XL2 by Lime Crime. I have the plastic in here for who knows what reason. Anyways, so this is the Venus XL2. I like this. As you can see, some of these shades have a bit of a dip in here, but I feel like Lime Crime's metallic formula, at least from my experience in this palette, always gets hard pan. Crown has hard pan, so does Thorn, so does Forbidden, so does Myth. Like, all these metallics have hard pan, and that's just something that's really annoying to deal with, and I don't want to deal with because I have other metallics that don't do that. So that's one reason I'm getting rid of this palette. The other reason is there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 5 mattes in here, and I feel like the selection of mattes doesn't really give me a coherent look, so I'm not really a fan of that either. And last but not least, I just don't reach for this. I feel like this color story doesn't attract me to it. I just never think about using this palette. Whenever I use it and think about using it and end up using it, I'm like, yeah, this is a nice look, but I'm not like wowed by it. So I feel like this is just taking up space. I'm gonna get rid of this. I do really like the packaging though. Like, see, the packaging's really pretty. I just wish the packaging matched the inside. This is like orange and neon green and like bright pink, and then when you open it up, it's like muted versions of all those colors. Like, what's the point of that? So I'm gonna get rid of this. Another palette I'm getting rid of, no surprise if you've watched any of my videos, is the Alter Ego Artemis palette. I don't like this palette at all. This palette is full of cream to powder mattes. this one, 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 this one. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 cream to powder mattes in here, and there's only 3 true mattes. These true mattes, like powder mattes, those are good, but there's only 3 of them. And then all the rest are cream to powder, and they kind of suck. I mean, I'm just gonna be completely honest here. I don't like them. They're hard to pick up on a brush, and when you do pick them up on a brush, they don't really transfer well to the lid. When you pick them up on a finger, they don't get off of your finger, they just stay on there. Like, they're just kind of impossible to use. I like the mattes though. I do like the metallics, but I mean, I can't get a coherent look out of this because this cream to powder formula is just not good. So I'm gonna get rid of this. This palette is a dupe palette of the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette, and to be completely honest, I would much rather spend the coin on the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette, because I've heard that palette has amazing formulas, including the cream to powder formula in that palette, but this is just not it for me. So this is going goodbye. It's about time I get rid of this. Another palette I'm getting rid of is the Tarte Clay Play palette. So this is just old. This just needs to go. I got this palette from my mom when I just didn't have very many neutral mattes in my collection, so this really was my neutral matte palette. This palette had a lot of memories attached to it. I wore this palette on my first date with my boyfriend. I wore this palette for the interview I did with the company I ended up interning for, which is the company I now work for. So, and I also wore this on my first day of work for that same job. So this palette does have a lot of memories involved with it, just because for a while it was really like my only neutral matte sort of palette. I didn't own a lot of palettes back then, but this is just really old. It's super expired. It still smells like chocolate, which I find, or vanilla. I don't really know what this smells like. I just know it smells good. So I think I'm gonna get rid of this though, just because it's super expired. I literally never reach for it anymore, and I just keep it for the memories. So this is gonna go in the trash. Let's talk about Alien Cosmetics. This is the Alien Cosmetics and Serendipity palette. This is new to my collection. I got this in December or January. I cannot remember because all the months feel the same now. So this palette, I like the formula, especially these like more textured metallics I feel like are really, really pretty. The mattes are good too. These more like subtle like metallic slash satins, those are nice too. They're just not as special to my collection. I feel like this color story is just hard for me to work with, but I do want to keep it in my collection just to see if I can get some more use out of this palette. If I don't, I feel like instead of straight up decluttering it, what I would probably do is depot some of these shades that I really like, and then maybe just give the rest of the palette to a friend or toss it. I'm not really sure. So I am gonna keep this, but this is on palette probation. If I don't reach for it, next declutter, it's going goodbye. This next Alien Cosmetics palette is their holiday palette. This is what it looks like. I bought this for the color story. I also got this at the same time that I got the Serendipity palette. God, I don't know what to do with this one. These blue mattes are not good. Like these 3 right here, they're just patchy, they don't blend well, they're not pigmented enough, they're just not good. And then these reds are good, like they're fine, but they're nothing like amazing. And I do like these metallics, these 3 metallics a lot, but I don't think it's worth it to keep the palette just for 3 metallics that I enjoy. But I find myself not reaching for this palette because of those not great blue mattes. And the reason I bought this palette is I like the color story. But if I don't reach for the mattes, then what's the point of keeping it? Okay, what am I gonna do with this? I feel like this palette, I either need to declutter or I need to depot some of these shades. But like, these shades aren't really unique to my collection. I think I'm gonna declutter this just because I'm not really impressed with the formula. I feel like the Serendipity palette has a much better matte formula than this one. But overall, I don't think Alien Cosmetics is a brand I'm really gonna buy from again, just because I like some of their formulas, it seems like, but others are just okay. And I don't really want to take a gamble with my money like that again, so yeah, I think I'm gonna declutter this one. Next palette, oh, I forgot I had another Nabla palette. Oops. So this is the Ruby Lights Glitter Quad from Nabla. This also came in the Trend Mood box. I'm gonna keep this. These are really the only pressed glitters in my collection now, just because I don't really use them that often, and because it came in the box, so I decided to, you know, give them a try. I do like this pressed glitter formula. I feel like it sticks to the eyes well. There's not a lot of glitter fallout. Works really well with the glitter glue, and I really do like these colors. So I'm gonna keep this because I have been using this quite a bit actually, and I do enjoy these pressed glitters. So I'm gonna keep this one. Let's talk about Odin's Eye. Next, we have the Odin's Eye Salmon palette. I already know I'm gonna keep this. This metallic down here, this one up here, just stunning. I love this purple matte. And all these other mattes are really, really nice to work with too. And the other metallics are also beautiful. So I'm gonna keep this. I like using it, it's a lot of fun. In case you didn't know, Odin's Eye is a Swedish indie brand. They also make some lipsticks that I really enjoy, the Alpha Cream lip stains. And they also just came out with a collection, I believe yesterday when I'm filming this. It'll probably be like a week or two later once I post it. But they do have really good products, so I do like this palette a lot. My other Odin's Eye palette is the Freja palette. I love this packaging. They just have really nice packaging on their palettes. So this is what it looks like. It's just full of reds and oranges and pinks. It's very, very warm toned. I'm also gonna keep this. I like this palette a lot. I think the mattes are great, metallics are great. I feel like I don't reach for this one as much as the Salmon palette just because it is extremely warm toned and there's not really much like different that you can do with this, but it is really nice. I like the formulas and I do reach for it, so I'm gonna keep this one too. Let's talk about Midas Cosmetics. I own one palette from them. This is the Lemonade palette. It is just full of yellows, as the name implies. I'm going to keep this. This is basically my one-stop shop for yellows in my collection, and I do use this a lot in the summertime and the springtime. I haven't really been reaching for it in the fall and the winter just because I feel like yellow, it's just more like a spring summertime color for me, so I'm gonna keep this. I really like it. It's a good formula. I like the mattes though more than the metallics. Blip, blip, blip. Excuse me. So I feel like, I don't know, maybe I've been spoiled with my indie single metallics, but I like a bit more oomph from my metallics in this, but these mattes are great, so I'm gonna keep this one. Okay, we're getting down to the bitter end, aren't we? Let's go for Glam Light next. So these are huge palettes. This is the Cake palette. It comes in an oven. It's adorable, and then you just pop it out like this, and it's a little cake. Oh, I love it. I love dessert, so I feel like this is the palette for me. I have the biggest sweet tooth in the world. So this is the Cake palette. So I love Glam Light's formula. These mattes, these bright, colorful mattes are awesome. So are these metallics. This is just a really, really good palette. I'm gonna keep this. I don't have anything else like this in my collection. Glam Light makes the only two rainbow palettes that I own, and so I just like to reach for these when I'm feeling colorful and inspired, so I'm gonna keep this one. And my other Glam Light palette, this big monster, is the Ice Cream Dream palette. So it comes in this ice cream truck packaging. It's really cute, but if you don't like oddly shaped palettes, this one is a rectangle, so it's perfect. So I love these little sprinkles on here. It's so cute. And then when you open it up, this is what it looks like. This is a pastel lover's dream. These pastels are super intense. I love the mattes. I feel like Glam Light really, really shines with their metallics though. Once the spring and summer comes, I bet I'll be using this palette a ton. So again, I love Glam Light's formula. I'm definitely keeping this. Okay, let's go for these BH Cosmetics palettes. So I have 3 of the Sweet Shop palettes. I have the pistachio one. I have the cotton candy one, which is like pinks and purples. And I have the bubblegum one, which are blues. I'm going to keep these 3 palettes. I think the formulas are great. Mattes are awesome. Metallics are really foily, shiny, shifty, whatever you want to call them. So I really like these palettes. I like how colorful they are. I really enjoy them. I've done a video on these as well, so you should definitely check it out if you want to see a demo of all 3 of these palettes and some swatches. All right, we're getting down to some of the last palettes here. Let's go for this one. This is the Ace Beauté Oceanic palette. So this is what it looks like. I don't use this palette much because it's kind of a pain in the butt to work with. These mattes take a while to build them up to the intensity that I want them to be. And I feel like this is a palette where you need to do your eyes before your face because there's a lot of fallout, and it is impossible to get rid of blue fallout if that falls on your face. It's just, it streaks up everywhere. It's awful. But you can get these mattes to work. These metallics are really, really hard pressed in the pan, but again, you can get them to work. If I were to keep this, it would be for the mattes, because I feel like this color story is just like, again, like it says oceanic. It's like just blues, greens, ocean colors. And I love the names of the shades, because they all have to do with the ocean too. Ugh, this is a really hard one. Let me compare it to my pistachio palette and the bubblegum palette from BH. So, okay, I don't have a bright, bright green like algae. That's something that's unique in here. And let's look at the bubblegum palette. Yeah, I feel like I feel like Bali, this blue matte down here, that one's more like a mid-toned, like periwinkle kind of shade. So I feel like algae and Bali and Fiji are the unique mattes in here. I have to decide if it's worth it. I'm gonna put this one to the side to decide what I wanna do. It's in the maybe pile. This next palette is the Rebel Rouge Labs Howling For You palette. I got this around Halloween. They are an indie brand and they sell on Etsy. And this is what this palette looks like. It has a pressed glitter in the middle, so I was wrong. I do actually have one more pressed glitter. And this is Ghosted. It's really pretty actually. It has like orange and gray and green and metallics in there. And I just really like this palette. I feel like the mattes are really nice. The metallics are really nice. I feel like there was no need to have both of these oranges. So maybe if one of these was like, I don't know. I feel like this should be a dark green matte instead of this like satiny kind of shade. And maybe this should be like a lighter purple matte. I feel like that would have been a good way to like change it up a little bit. But I do really like this palette. I am going to keep this one. But I have been finding that I use this one a lot in the fall and Halloween. And now that's like winter time, I haven't been reaching for it as much. So I do need to reach for this one more. Okay, this next palette is the Violet Voss Fun Size palette. I bought this because I didn't have very many purples in my collection at the time. Again, let me compare it to this Cotton Candy palette. Yeah, I don't think I need both of these. And I feel like this purple shade down here, I feel like this one's gonna be really similar to the one in the Odin's Eye palette. Let's see if I'm right. It's actually a bit more warmer toned. It's a bit more of a warmer pinky purple versus the Odin's Eye one, which is a blue purple. So okay, I feel like the one unique matte in here, which I bought this for the mattes, is this purple. But I don't think that's worth it to keep this palette. I just feel like I have purple mattes that I like the formula of better. So I think this was good for when I got it, but it's kind of, I already have something like this. So I think I'm gonna get rid of this one as well. Let's talk about Tammy Tanuka. This one is the Peaceful Earth Dragon, something like that. This is a Russian indie brand, so all of their palette names and shadow names are in Russian. So I don't speak Russian, so I'm telling you what I remember the translation to be. I think it's like Peaceful Earth Dragon. I love this palette. I wore this one yesterday. I wore this shade in my crease, this brown matte in my outer corner, this beautiful textured brown metallic in the inner part of my lid, not inner part, outer third, or I don't know, middle third of my lid, and this one in the inner third, more towards the inner corner of my lid. I love this palette. I love this color story. I think this is a great formula. I'm definitely keeping this. And this other Tammy Tanuka palette is the Lavender Chinchilla palette. Mine came really crushed, so this is what it looks like now, and it makes me sad. So this pan that you see in here, this wasn't me, this was the palette coming broken, and I'm really bummed about it. I like this palette. I don't like it as much as the other one. This shade in the middle is beautiful, but I just find that you can't really get a lot of depth in here. It's just like very cool toned, very like mid-toned. There's not a lot of opportunities for depth. I think I'm gonna keep this one for now, but if I don't end up using this one a lot, I mean, it's not worth it just to keep it for that one shade, so I'd probably declutter it next time. But I do like this palette. I really like Tammy Tanuka's formula. And last but not least, we have Huda Beauty again. So I have two of her like Gemstone Obsessions palettes. This is the Ruby Obsessions palette. It's just full of reds. Dang, this is old. I mean, these might be expired by now. I mean, they probably are. What does it say on the back? It says 12 months. So according to the definition, these are definitely expired. I think I've had these since like I was in college, maybe like early college. So this is the red one, this is the green one. I do like these. They don't take up a lot of space. So if I do keep them, like it's not really, I'm not really giving up anything to keep these. I will say this shade in the top, for me, right for you left corner, is beautiful on this green palette. This is a stunning, stunning shade. So this mint shade here, this like goldy shade here, these are getting hard pan, I'm not sure why. This mint shade matte is nice, this one's nice. I mean, they're all nice, but I really like the shade in the palette. So I think I'm gonna keep the green one, red one. Dang, this is hard. Let's compare it to, I keep comparing things to each other. Okay, this is like my other like super red warm tone palette. I don't really see a ton of similarities in here. Yeah, I'll keep this one too. So I'll keep this other Huda Beauty one for now. If I don't use it, you know the drill, I'll probably get rid of it next time. So let's see the other two palettes I was thinking about decluttering. These are in the maybe pile. So we have the Ace Beauté Oceanic, we have the Nabla Secret. So this is the Nabla Secret palette. Dang, I never use this. Yeah, this has gotta go. This has gotta go. Even though I like the formula, I never use it, so. And this is the Ace Beauté Oceanic. Dang, I love this color story. Okay, I'm gonna keep this one for now. If I do not touch this, or only touch this a few times, between now and the time I do another declutter, this will have to go. So there we go. You're on the chopping block. Keep that in mind. So overall, here are the palettes I'm decluttering. The Nabla Secret palette, the Tarte Clay Play, which is going in the trash because it's super old, the Violet Voss Sweet Violet mini palette, the Alien Cosmetics Christmas palette, the Artemis palette from Alter Ego. God, I hate these cream to powders. And the Venus 2 XL. So let's see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I started with 49 palettes. I'm decluttering 6, and I'm ended up with 43 total. Is that amazing? No, but I do wear makeup like every day for work, and you know, I like playing with makeup, and I do use a vast majority of these palettes on a regular basis. So I feel good about it. I came into this thinking, let's just get rid of stuff I don't use or don't like. I did that, so I'm happy. So with that, I hope you enjoyed this declutter. I might be doing more declutters on my channel if there's something you are interested in and like seeing. So please let me know if this is a type of video that you enjoy seeing on my channel. If you liked this video, please like this video. If you like me, I would love it if you would subscribe so you can get notified whenever I post. And with that, I think that is the end of the video. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.